Pretty gloomy day out, unfortunately. So the weather's pretty crappy. But pull the Nova out, let it sit in the rain for a little bit. Do a little work on the 55. I don't know where I exactly left off in the last video. It's been a few days. All I did was I ground down a little bit to see what I had for some solid metal here with the post. So I think what I'm going to do, I marked out about where I want to cut this. I got the lower patch panel. I actually had another one I can use as well, which covers all the way down here. So it's quite heavy to move around this thing. So I'm going to slice out, I think, obviously what's bad and what the patch panel for sure will cover. And I'll go back to probably just behind the window. Go up there. Then on this side, so I'm going to slice it right where the piece is, probably right around here as much as I can. And then I guess make a decision on the end. Then once I do that, I'm going to flip it over. I'm probably going to end up pulling the mechanism and like the inner structure all of it, just so it's kind of a skin. It'll be much easier to fit on. Then I can weld back in all the window regulator and all that once it's actually on the car and fit. But it's heavy and a pain in the ass to move around right now. So I'll get cutting and I'll show you guys the progress I make. Alright, well, just chopped out the section here. I left myself lots of meat. That's the patch panel. I just traced it out to make sure I wouldn't go too much. That's all. It's workable metal if I have to go. Obviously this is still going to get chopped off. And then I cut that off to see what I was working with. I'm going to have to flip it on the other side, I guess, and figure out how I'm going to detach everything. Okay, so I cut out up there, through there, and actually cut the inner wheel tub all out. But now, basically that's ready to come right out. This thing actually weighs a fair bit. Essentially, I've just made myself a 2-hour skin with the jam. I guess now I can figure out how to test fit it in there and see what I got to cut off the car. So that's what it's going to end up looking like on. Now it's definitely going to be a bit of a pain because on most videos I see they put the post in, tack it into place so you make sure the door will open and close, and then you start working on the back side. But I'm going to have to kind of do it all at once. But I've been making really, kind of square cuts and everything, so if I screw anything up, I always just weld it back together. Well, the general shape is there. I have just kind of, the door's not quite closed. So it looks like the door gap should work out okay. This is my main concern here, is what I'm going to do with the 4-door and the 2-door, I guess. So I'm going to obviously cut all here out to make it fit. But overall, I'm pretty close. I should have lots of good material. This is all, solid. Actually, I got radius cut wheel wells I'm going to be putting in anyways, so it should work good. And then the patch panel does come all the way down here and covers all this up. So, hopefully by next couple of days I'll have it tacked together and look like an actual car. So I've made a little more progress. I chopped out the structure kind of on the outside there, but I still have an edge to weld to so I can get it in the car. Really what's holding me up now, so I gotta decide what I want to do, if I want to use this section of the car still, or if I want to use all of this and then kind of weld it in. That's a big decision to make. I kind of think I'm just going to cut this here and here, get all the structure out of the inside, and it looks like up in here it's basically the same as that. So if I could slide it all in and just use the inner structure of it, it should be good. But otherwise, I guess it's hard to eyeball the door gaps with the door still open, but overall looks like it should be pretty close. Well, got a pile of chopping. So I got the whole jam out on the inside there. So So I might have to do some modifications to the wheel tub. It actually looks like it's had a repair there anyways at some point. So now I'm going to try and skillfully cut this. I had it up against the car, I marked it there and there, so kind of cut this section out. I'll start small and kind of work my way up to it. And then I should be able to get that going. Make sure the door fits, obviously tack that all together. And at the very least, the skin of it on the outside will look decent. And then I'll have to kind of worry about what I want to do with the rest of it on the inside. But the big thing is for it to look like a two-door, and I can mess with it. The other thing is I'm going to have is with the proper jam. On the four-doors there's a little molding or something like that there. So this will look like a legitimate proper two-door when it's all done. Well, I figured I'd save you guys all the cutting and stuff like that, so I had this thing on probably 10 times, just a little bit at a time, so I don't take off too much material. Just got a little bit more trimming to do there so it lines up, and there it's overhanging on both sides just a little bit. But then I should be able to flush those in. I can tack it in a few spots. Overall, the door gap is, I guess as good as it's going to get for something from the 50s. The bottom is still sitting over the sill, so I got to worry about that. And all I really got to do is just kind of trim down there. Make sure I got some good steel there. I should be fine. It should be okay. And then I actually have that panel right there, which I actually drew the line right across. So once I get that tacked in, it's kind of basically a two-door. But then the main issue is going to be, obviously inside there's zero structure whatsoever, so it'll be skinned. But once I get that going, then I can start piecing this together. And actually the bottom of it was rotted away where it touched the sill, but backside, the regulator and all that still there. Should be pretty simple, just to line it all up, give it a couple of tack welds, make sure the window goes up and down, and then move on to the other side. So I started grinding where the post was, so I could put a little replacement piece in there. You can tell by all the body filler, I started going on the quarter panel. This thing, at one point, someone had radiused the wheel wells on a four-door. Must have looked a little goofy with the doors welded in piece there, but a pile of filler in there. But really, it's all down the middle. It's just real wavy. Kind of irrelevant though, because I'm going to have another patch panel I'm going to put in for here, and I actually bought some radius wheel wells that I'll kind of go in there anyways and take care of that problem. So the rest of it should be pretty solid. But I thought that was pretty interesting. I've never seen a four-door with radius wheel wells before. So to make the patch for where the post was, I actually kept the roof off of the two-door. So I just chopped a little piece out there and fit right in. The front I gotta make it look kind of pretty because you see it. The rest of it's actually hidden by the post, so I'll just finish stitch welding that in. We should be ready to put this thing together. So there it is, all together. I just tacked it together, so it's pretty crude, but the door opens and closes. The door gap seems to be, somewhat decent. Just needs a little bit of adjusting here and there. The back, I still have some screwing around to do. I got it just tack welded in. And I left it long. I'm probably going to flange the existing piece so that they'll sit flush. But I don't want to go too crazy, because I still have to fit this replacement panel down here, and that goes right down into the sills and everything like that. But hopefully I can get that all together. And then I guess I could probably work on the radius. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to get the other side done so it's a two-door completely. But otherwise, it actually really wasn't as much work as I thought it was going to be. 2 kind of solid days. It's basically a two-door. But that's enough for today. I'll probably be back at it tomorrow, and I'm sure I'll keep you guys up to date.